the City. What is going on, St. Louis City SC fans? My name is Ian. Today I am joined by Milo and Riley for another episode of Soul of the City. Today we are going to be talking about what I correctly predicted, a 2-0 win for the boys at home against the Colorado Rapids. You guys were actually at the game, so what are your thoughts?
That game was a banger, and not anything due to what Colorado was doing because they were playing resident sleeper ball. It was not fun to watch them on the attack. They looked dangerous maybe only a handful of times.
In the first 30 seconds.
And after that, it was just downhill for that team. Feel bad for them. Kroenke-owned franchise, so I kind of give them a little bit of a slack just because we've experienced some poor ownership with that horrible man. So, you know, they're terrible, but we won't dog them too hard.
And maybe it was good that they were terrible because we really got to test some things out, do some experimenting.
We were in the lab this game, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So speaking of the lab, I think we kind of alluded to the changes in the formation that we were going to play was that 4-1-2-1-2. We went with the same back line that we had against San Jose with Yarrow and Akil Watts on the right and Tim Parker and Kyle Hebert on the left. Then we had Blom right in front of them, kind of that specified holding midfield player. Vasilev and Stroud up just slightly forward of that, playing those kind of 8 roles, just getting up and down the field. And then that boy AZ in the midfield. What did you guys think of him today? He was insane.
I'm sorry, AZ Jackson.
Ooh, I am for real.
That guy's the truth.
He's the truth, and, man, he looks more and more confident every time he steps on the field. He was sending defenders for hot dogs.
Dude, he's a beast, and I'm glad that he's getting that start. Got the start at San Jose to kind of prove his worth because obviously Carnell in practice was seeing that he wasn't worth the start, and then Ostrak was. And now that we're actually seeing him out there, like it is night and day, man.
Definitely.
It is insane.
Him and Blom just have this innate ability for how small they are, just to hold the ball, like
hold people off them.
Yeah, and they like it looks like they're about to get bodied, but then they just keep the ball, and it looks like he's about to lose the ball, and it somehow bounces right back to his feet, and he skirts off to the left or the right and finds somebody else. It was awesome. He really ran the show last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was deserving of a man of the match. We can talk about that later because he shows a lot of like fire when he's playing. Goes into like every 50-50 ball that he can get to.
Yeah.
Never gives up.
Yeah, never gives up. And finally, the front line, we had Gio and Big Sam start right next to each other, and I thought that looked great.
It did look great.
Yeah, Sam. Whew, that guy's a beast.
Cooking per usual, man.
He's huge and he's fast as hell.
Both of them had great opportunities in this game, and while Gio didn't get his goal, he was in position to score multiple times in this game.
Like the more that I watch Big Sam play, I'm just like, you are just like Klaus. Like it is oddly similar the profile of player that they are in terms of the like ways that they try and get in behind the defense and play other people in, like playing with Gio and stuff. I think it's worked out really well. He's just slotted right back into the lineup, and it looks great. So,
I mean, we surely missed him for 8 weeks, and like that's always going to be kind of a weird look for me. Just like what if he was here with the club for those 8 weeks? How different would the season be? How close could we be to Cincinnati in the Supporter Shield? It's a good question, but you know we can't hold on to it for too long. I just like every time I look at him, I'm like, man, we missed you for 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's not worth dwelling on because he's back now and he's putting up numbers. So
I don't think we would have the Gio that we have now without Klaus being out and him being on loan because Gio's really also come into his own, which is good.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine being a center back trying to defend this man that is as tall as I am, probably stronger than I am, but also could burn me. Just turn and burn. He just kept turning and burning, man.
Dude, he's 6'4" and just has pace for days. It's a weird combo.
Yeah.
I guess we can start off by just getting into the game.
Yeah.
A little dangerous right off the rip. We started the game, gave the ball to them after Berkey plays kind of a long ball into the air. Nothing comes of it. Ball falls to Barrios, and he plays pretty delicious little ball.
Delectable.
In between Tim Parker and past Yarrow. Cabral's running onto it. He takes a pretty poor first touch with his right to kind of get it out in front of him, and he ends up having to just like toe poke it with his right, trying to beat Berkey at his near post, but Berkey had it covered all day.
Should have hit it with his left.
Yep. 1-star weak foot.
Berkey won the man of the match in that moment.
You think?
No.
We were doing
but it was a good start to
Yeah.
his man of the match performance.
They were doing that classic USMNT chant where it's like the boom, boom, ksh, like at the start of the game.
Okay.
And then it speeds up over time, and like 30 seconds in, they're almost scoring. I'm like, oh my God, we should have never tried some new chant at the start of the game. I was freaking out.
Yeah, some
And
bad juju going on there.
Like many U.S. things that are classic, it was also stolen from, who was it, Sweden?
Iceland.
Iceland.
Mhm.
Skull.
The skull chant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does go hard, so. And it works with STL, too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
Yep.
glad to hear a new chant.
Always.
Always good to hear new chants.
Yes.
We gotta keep being invented. I know that
Absolutely.
we're talking about we gotta figure something out for a song for AZ if he keeps getting these starts with Sorry Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
Hell
AZL Jackson. Ooh, ooh. Speaking of AZ, 4th minute we start off hot. He gets a corner, plays it. He's on that right hand side for the corner, and he's right footed, so it's like an out swinging ball. And you see Tim Parker and Kyle Hebert like stacked together near the penalty spot, and it's definitely something from the training ground because Kyle Hebert kind of just like grabs both of the defenders in front of him. Tim Parker runs for free straight onto it, uses that giant Cro-Magnon forehead he's got,
Bow.
and just boom right into the far post.
The mullet of fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the post game, AZ said that was something that was drawn up in the training ground. That I can't remember what the coach's name is. I feel like it's like Nick or something, but
One of the set piece coaches or something like that. You could
drawn
see
up. Yeah,
you could see Carnell like really fired up about it on the touchline. Probably just because we haven't scored an early goal in a game in a while, and usually that bodes really well for us. Also, as much as you want to celebrate every goal as a coach, the ones that you kind of have the most impact on are set piece plays, and
you feel the most passionate about.
exactly.
We
You're
haven't
like,
been scoring very many of those. So
no, we haven't.
getting an early one at home, and it was a beautiful ball, pinpoint on the forehead. It's hard to miss that forehead.
No, it is.
Dude, thinking about that goal, we score such a wide range of goals. Like, we have so many goal-scoring opportunities in our bag. Set pieces, penalties. Maybe the long-range goals are what are the last aspect that we kind of need. Leuven's curler against the Whitecaps kind of comes to mind, but that was a set-piece delivery. I'm still looking for that Njabolo Blom long shot screamer.
Banger, yeah.
I wouldn't
It's-
be
it's
surprised
coming.
if AZ pulls that out of his bag out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He seems to add something to his bag every time he comes out.
Dude, seriously.
Beastin'.
Yeah, it's huge that we see both of the all-star players making an instant impact in the game. You know, making a save in the first minute and then walking down on the other end, and our center back scores the first goal to get us off on the right foot. Feels great.
I think Tim Parker got that coach's call up to the all-star team and just like snapped out of that rut of form that he was in, where he was like kind of losing his mind for a second, like running out of position.
Put him into a little bit of a blender, but
I think it's also good to not have him and Bartlett out there.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
true.
too similar. And against Nashville, they both looked lost as hell. So,
Yeah.
Yarrow also good shout.
yeah.
Definitely.
No, Yarrow's been great since he's
Yeah.
come in.
I called it on the last episode. Yarrow clean sheet, like it's due, it's coming. So I'm glad he got that. I'm also really surprised he's 29. I did not.
He looks very young.
He looks very young.
You know, defenders age like fine wine.
Yeah, and a defender's prime can go a little later than your usual footballers just because pace isn't necessarily that big of an issue.
Yeah.
He's fast as hell too.
Who,
He is
Yarrow?
quick.
Yeah.
He is quick.
I
He's
mean,
really long. He's like very lanky. But next chance of the game, Adeniran. This is kind of that like in behind play we were talking about, where he's just got a knack for seeing the space and just knowing that he's got the pace on the defender. So the ball kind of comes down to him after it bouncing around a little bit in the midfield, and he just boots it into their half, like on the ground past all of the defenders, and just takes off running on that left-hand side. As he's running down that left-hand side, you see AZ coming through the middle, as well as Gio coming through the middle, just a little wider than him, further down. And this should have been 2. I don't know if AZ couldn't get a foot on it or if he got fouled, and then that kind of eliminates one of the variables in the equation. He definitely had the better scoring opportunity of him and Gio. But Yarsborough, their goalie, is able to just come out and close out the angle on Gio, which sucks for Gio because he's got that chance as well as many others in this game that I'm sure he'd like to have back. But
yeah, I think Gio, if he had just gotten the ball in the air on that one in either direction, it would have gone in.
It just ends up at the goalie, sadly.
The scoreline definitely could have finished like 5-0.
Yeah, when we had 2 in the first 11, I was ready for like a rout.
Blowout, yeah. I was telling there was some it was my sister's 21st birthday, and so we brought some friends of hers to the supporters section, and it was their first time at the City game, and I was like, after the first goal in 4 minutes, I was like, you guys are in for a treat. This is about to be a blowout. And then we only got one more after that. It wasn't quite the blowout that I was expecting, but it easily could have been.
It felt like a blowout, even though it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say the second half was kind of weird to watch as a fan. It was a good thing and a bad thing. We'll get there when we get there, because right now we're going to our second goal, which is the 11th minute. I thought that the press was one of the best that I had seen to date. We like that whole first half, anytime they had it in their half, we were on their heels the entire time. And this chance is born completely from that press. Adeniran applying pressure in their corner on the left-hand side, yanks the ball from their center back, and it's about to go out of bounds, and he like plays it on the line, just like past the defender, and kind of like slips while he's running down. And AZ and Stroud are kind of waiting in the middle, and Stroud just intercepts a pass that I think is meant for AZ, but he tucks it away, and that's 2-0.
Somehow, magically.
Yeah.
I just have to say that I think if I'm playing goalie in that situation, I'm sticking my leg out and most likely saving that.
If you go to the highlights of this game and watch it, it looks like he tries to like move his foot, and his foot just gets stuck in the grass. So
he's already on the ground.
Yeah, he's already like down on one knee, and then the other one's out to his left, and he tries to move that leg and kick it out, and it just kind of like only moves like an inch.
Yeah, and that shot is only inches away from him in the first place. It's
not a good finish.
It was not a very good finish.
But let's put on target, man.
Goal's a goal.
You got to shoot to score.
What's the XG? What's the XG on that chance? Any knowers?
I can figure it out.
Come on, Mickey.
If you know, you got to show. Show what you know.
The XG on that Stroud chance is 0.12. And after the actual shot, like the post-shot model for XG on target is 0.03.
Oh, my God.
So
yeah, that
should have been saved.
Definitely.
But it is what it is. So we got a goal. We're up 2-0, vibing at home. It's good to be a City fan.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That place was rocking.
It's good to see the lads hungry, too. It felt like they were, maybe towards the end it got kind of just defensive, but we'll talk about that, too.
Yeah.
But other than that, they just looked hungry the entire game. And I love fans that, like, even when the first 2 goals are scored in the first 15 minutes of the game, the whole game we're cheering for saves, we're cheering for people going in for tackles,
people getting subbed on. Like, everything is worth the celebration.
We're cheering everything, not just goals.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
All right, and then the 18th minute, just because I thought uncharacteristically he looked a little you could get after him today. Kyle Hebert got cooked.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the dude's name, but they just like stood each other up, and the guy just puts it straight through his legs and runs around him. Ends
totally
up going
takes
to nothing.
him out of the play, yeah.
Because Tim Parker, I think, comes over and makes sure it ends up out of bounds. But I wanted to throw that in there. That's about the only thing that was
cooked on camera.
Yeah, cooked on cam. Some scrimp scampi.
Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop giving players their flowers, because I feel like every time we do it,
they just come out and play bad or get cooked.
Yeah, that's why we gotta just stick with hate, because also every time we hate on the players, they come out God mode.
Right. Yeah, a lot of Gio slander early on into Gio is very class, incredible striker.
Parker slander in the past 2 games. He's been looking
great.
True
Solid.
Captain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's fired up.
So 25th minute, Akil Watts coming down that right-hand side. I thought that he probably looked like he should be he's the most capable offensive wingback that we have. His crossing ability looked the best that I have seen out of anyone playing a wingback position this year. He crosses into Adeniran, who's got kind of a defender right on him, so he can't really do anything with it, and it just kind of pops out. And then AZ is standing in the middle and kind of plays like keepy-uppy with it in the box a little bit, and Stroud kind of gets in his way. and he can't take the shot first time, and then Stroud like lets it go through him, and he like takes it with his left and kind of fluffs it, goes up past the left hand side of the goal.
Jared Stroud is a running in the way merchant. Like, dude just finds a way to be in the way sometimes.
That can sometimes be a good thing.
Yeah, agreed. But man, that was about to be goal of the week. If he had struck that with his left.
Oh my gosh, yeah! I was watching him keep it up there. I just knew that shot was coming. If Stroud could have just been a few paces further left,
as soon as
it would have been such a good goal.
As soon as he rainbow flicked that over the defender, the entire stadium was on their feet.
Yeah,
and like just
ready for a highlight
for
tape.
A goal. Yes. Oh my God, he's looking so good. It's gonna be difficult to figure out what to do with him as Leuven comes back.
Yeah, I think that we can talk about that now if we want to. If we're going to keep playing this formation, I think he's got to keep his place. As much as I like Vasilev in the 10, I feel like AZ has looked every bit as good in the 10 role. Mm-hmm. He hasn't put up the goals, but the attack looks fluid, and he, I think, even more than Vasilev, is able to receive and turn in like the most fluid motion out of anyone on our team.
So that makes me wonder, do you drop Stroud on the left and put Vasilev on the left?
I think that's probably the most natural progression for the formation, is to take Stroud out and then throw Leuven in. And then our midfield is a diamond of Blom in the back, Vasilev and Leuven next to each other, and then AZ up top of that diamond.
My biggest thing is like, man, Vasilev looked so solid in the 10, and I know our resident soccer expert Danny Finley is going to cook me for this one, but like, I just feel like we've had to reserve him back to the 8 because Leuven's out, and while Vasilev was in the 10, he looked so solid, so sound, and probably like you said, like they're probably on par with each other playing the 10, but I feel like he's had to have a more reserved role, not by choice. And I want to give him the opportunity to step back into the 10 because I enjoyed watching him play there so much.
So that makes me wonder, what if when Nielsen comes back, we play 3 in the back and have Blom as CDM, and then those two can just play interchangeably in the mid. There's just so many issues with these players coming back. Because then when Klaus comes back, Adeniran's been playing out of his socks.
I was about to say there's a lot of issues. So like if Leuven comes back before Klaus does, which is probably what's going to happen because it seems like Klaus's injury is just going to keep continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
Does Vasilev deserve to at least get a start in that position? Because he hasn't played at the 10 when we've had Adeniran in the team. And AZ has had that kind of ability. And Adeniran stretches the defense in ways that Gio isn't. So I think that he might come out and play better than AZ. We don't know.
Yeah.
And we probably got to give him a shot and see what happens.
And I definitely feel like Vasilev can play that 8 definitely better than I think Aziel Jackson could. Mm-hmm. So like it makes sense why he's there and why we've put him there. I loved watching him in the 10, and I miss it a little bit.
Yeah, I gotcha. Him scoring goals, he seems like the most passionate player about St. Louis. He's the one that's always talking in interviews about, like, we know how important this rivalry is. We like talking about the fans.
He's the one who walks over to the sideline and hypes people up, like in the crowd.
Awesome.
He's in tune with the city, and so I have a special place in my heart for him.
I
mean, these are good problems to have.
Yeah. It's true. It's definitely
good
true.
A couple weeks ago, we would not ever expect to be having this conversation.
Yeah, where it was depression.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 36th minute, another chance for us. Corner from Vasilev is another outswinger because he's on the left-hand side with his left foot. The goalie, Yarsborough, comes out and like dives and punches it away. Makes its way to Akil Watts, who passes it to Aziel Jackson on the like top left of the box, and he just kind of plays in like a floated kind of whipped ball to Adeniran and Gio, who are both basically fighting one defender on the penalty spot. And Gio hits it with his mop top, but he just basically like grazes it, and it
doesn't
just
get
goes
enough
straight to the keeper.
Yep.
That one I'm sure Gio would like to have back, because if he could have done any redirection towards goal on that, I think it's just a
if
free
he had
one.
one more inch on his vertical,
it
probably he's getting that one in.
And that's why he's got to be a false 9.
Yeah.
Dude, Akil Watts, he needs a shout out too. Oh my goodness,
he's been great. He's been fantastic.
The
Probably
confidence. It's crazy. These kids, they just ooze confidence, or maybe they're just hungry because they want
to play, bro.
They want to get that starting spot locked up. And the way he's been playing, I mean, he's got to start it right back.
Well, most of them have been waiting like a full season for this at MLS Next 2.
Yep.
So they thought that they deserved, their spot on the team since then, and they've been working hard for it for at least a year, trying to show off why they deserve it.
Well, and it's what Carnell always talks about is that internal competition for positions. And it's like everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to go out on Saturday night and be in the starting 11. And it's when they get that opportunity that no one's gonna throw it away. They're passionate and they want to go out there and prove themselves. It's been fucking awesome to watch.
It's good to see.
Him, Aziel Jackson, and Sam all take people on and just burn them. And, that's just a confidence thing, man. Hello.
You like to see that. Just
Absolutely.
people, running at people. It's not something a lot of players are confident enough to do. And seeing a lot of players with that confidence is good. It's just about kind of tempering that and doing it at the right moments.
And it's a great change of pace Ostrak tries to do that pretty frequently.
Every time he gets the ball.
But it doesn't work out for him. And it was good to see the confidence in people. All three of them were taking people on. And, it's going to be hard to pick who stays and who goes, man. I think Ostrak's not going to see a starting spot for a while.
I agree. I think his time, he's been given plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And we have enough players now to swap them in and see what people have got.
I'm sure he'll still be a useful off-the-bench player, but it's not worth.
That's where he looks best.
Yeah, for sure. When he can come in the game and just run.
A situational kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, last chance of the first half, which is the only half that's even really worth talking about in this game. 38th minute, Vasilev is running into the box from kind of that top right-hand side, where he was on the right-hand side of the midfield. He's kind of like dribbling into the box. And he plays the ball across with his right foot low to Adeniran, who tries to settle it, and it bounces around a little bit. Vasilev has followed it inside, and it falls to him, and he just blasts it with his left, goes off of a couple defenders, and somehow ends up with Gio, who has no one in front of him and is 5-10 feet away from goal maybe, and he just blasts it right into the goalie again, and it's, not a great night for Gio. Yeah.
Nope. He was in dangerous positions, but couldn't find the finish.
Could have had a hat trick.
Yeah, he could have had a hat trick in that half.
And it's not that influential in the end. We win 2-0. He's just probably wishing he got on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think you would like to see one more get put away, because for good reason that 2-0 lead is it's like the worst lead in soccer.
Yeah.
That kind of adage. It's not fun watching a 2-0 game when they're possessing the ball the entire time.
I know.
Because you're just waiting for one to go in, and then the nerves of your team, and you have no momentum because you've been letting them have the ball forever.
Right.
It's just not a good situation to be in. And that's kind of where the second half was. And you can look at it from two perspectives. So the second half, we kind of just let them do whatever they wanted.
Yep.
They had the ball for the majority of it, possessed it, and tried to create stuff. And that's fine, especially if we're holding them to nothing. They didn't really have many meaningful chances. We'll get to some of those. But you would also like to see us be able to go on the other end and just put one away on the counter.
Get that kill shot.
Yeah, and just put the game to rest.
Yeah.
I did feel in the second half, like you were saying, the press was on in the first half. We
didn't
totally
press at all.
We took our foot off the gas in the second half, and we can talk about the substitutions that we made and kind of how the formation changed in the second half. But it totally flip flopped, and we parked the bus a little bit.
So I think it could have been I don't know if Carnell was ballsy enough to look at the team and be like, hey, I want us to go out and just play Brexit ball, park the bus and just practice parking the bus against a team that wants to win because this is a real game. You don't get much practice doing that unless it's against your own team, and you're never getting the same kind of reps that you are in a game. So he could have been at some point during the season, we're going to have a 1-0 lead away from home, and we're going to need to park the bus and just see out a game. So in the 51st minute, we're possessing the ball near half, and Blom has one of those rips that you were looking for.
Yeah.
Ends up being pretty easy to save. It's not too much worth talking about. But I do like seeing him kind of when we're just possessing it and nothing's really happening for us. Just take a step inside and just hit one.
Put it on target, man.
Yeah.
One concerning thing was him going down.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
He did not look happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe if that's just because he wanted to keep playing and it was a fun game to play in, but usually when you decide just to sit down,
Yeah, you see that, you're thinking injury.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Definitely injury. Maybe, hopefully cramp or something, you know?
Yeah, it was probably just a cramp.
I don't think anything...
Hopefully we hear nothing more about it.
I was going to say, I don't think we
field.
saw anything related to that in the post-game interview, so...
Klaus also walked off the field, so it's not...
so did Van Dyke when...
yeah, when he had tore his
destroyed
ACL.
yeah.
56th minute, the ball is whipped in from a corner by Ronan. And this is probably their best chance of the game. Leyva is near to the goal, kind of playing someone that's near the line, I guess. And he comes back towards the ball, like towards the penalty spot to meet it. So it kind of takes a lot of the the power that you get out of a header when it's whipped in like that. He heads it on goal, and it's pretty well placed into the bottom right, but it's just doesn't have any power on it.
Slow.
And Berkey dives down to his right, makes a great save, and then also recognizes the danger of kind of a second opportunity, pushes it away. It's easily cleared. And that was another great save by the man.
By the man. Did you have anything prepared for Berkey today or no?
No, I'm not doing any more Berkey apologies. He played great. Good job, Berkey. Way to get your clean sheet.
All right, I consider that 2 for 2, Ian.
That's
Good job.
2 for 2. All right.
I'm off the next episode, so I'll be sure to watch and make sure.
Don't worry, somebody will bring it up. So in terms of substitutions, there's not really any chances up until like the 75th minute, and in between then is when we made some important changes. We saw Alm come on for Blom with what looked like maybe a little bit of an injury. I don't know. And then Lucas Bartlett came on for Akil Watts. And that's when we kind of saw a formation change to a 5-2-3 or a 3-4-3 with Kyle Hebert and Jared Stroud playing like wingbacks.
Yep.
And then 3 at the back. I'm not sure how I feel about having 4 center backs on the field at one time.
I just don't get how Stroud just makes he never gets the cut, man.
No, he does later. But
but it's like in like the 80-something minute, and it's like we're keeping this man on to play left back?
Right back.
Right back.
Excuse me.
Well, yeah, and it's so weird. Like, the wingback problem that we have is glaringly obvious, and I totally like. In Lutz we trust. You know, this guy has got a master plan, and I'm going to put my faith in him. But we're looking at this lineup, these changes in particular. We have 4 center backs. One of them's playing left back week in, week out. The 2 wing backs that we brought in are obviously not working.
Dude, I felt like what better time to test out Watts on the right, like free to, play an attacking wingback role. We let him do it when we were playing 4 in the back, but then we put 5 in the back, and it's like that's when you want to see your wingbacks cook. And he could, like, why take him out there? Why not let him keep cooking? He could have cooked a little more. We could have seen a little more from him. That's what I want to see. Parker, Yarrow, Nielsen with Watts and I guess Hebert on the left, but Watts on the right, because he was looking attacking in a back 4. I can only imagine how well he'll do in a back 5.
And I do feel
that pep play.
Yeah, and I do feel more confident than Jake Nervinsky in terms of 1v1. Like, I feel a little more confident if players are trying to take Watts on, just because he's got the speed, and I feel like he's a little more in control of his body. Sometimes Jake Nervinsky just freaks me out.
He looks top heavy.
Yeah, and he did sub on in this game. And
he played pretty well.
When I'm always nervous anytime he gets touches on the ball. I feel like when we're trying to like break out of press and we're looking for him to play the ball, I am nervous for any pass that he's going to make.
He makes the wrong decision. Like I know he like blasted a pass like to our center back backwards while we're getting pressed, and I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah,
this man's folding.
So the last kind of real chance of the game is the 75th minute. We clear a corner, and the ball is, it's just notable because this dude, it's the only yellow card of the game, and this guy hadn't even touched the ball yet. He literally just subbed on right before the corner, and I think it's Mbongu.
Yeah.
He just, like, football tackles Rasmus Alm
while
he's trying to settle the ball.
And Alm is going to be away in that situation if he did. So it's tactical. I get it.
Red card.
No, there's more. There's still defenders on the
kidding.
line. It's just he got dropped. So
It's a passion red card.
That ref was pretty conservative with the cards.
He did a really good job. I was actually very happy with the officiating in this game. He played some great advantages, both for St. Louis and Colorado. I thought he did a great job.
yeah, I thought he was
Pretty good.
acceptable. I think that's
he
like
could
the
have shown
standard.
more yellows.
Yeah,
But
probably.
it didn't get out of hand, which is good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it could have. But I guess that never happened, so it doesn't matter.
There was multiple times people in the supporters section were trying to get Kroenke sucks chants going, and I swear they were saying, "Ref, you suck," and I was like, I think he's doing a pretty good job. Let's simmer down. And then I realized it was Kroenke for
Plus, these are
whoever.
MLS standards we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the MLS standard for refereeing, I think across the league, is pretty low.
Yeah.
So to have a ref that comes in and does a good job,
An okay
and we're not
job.
like
We're like-
mad about it after the game for some reason.
I wonder if it's just a North America thing, because there's also that one referee in the USA-Mexico game where we saw like 4 red cards, like 9 yellow cards.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's just a North America thing.
CONCACAF just hates the U.S.
I mean, that's fair. I get it.
Might just play the game a little tougher than everybody else,
Yeah, but these suspensions they're giving out for those red
Oh,
cards
for
was-
yellows and reds, yeah.
was dumb.
Well, it's just it is what it is. Sadly, does anyone know if the player for Mexico ever got a suspension for that?
I don't think he did.
Really?
And Weston got like a few games, and then
Really?
yeah,
Why would Weston get any games if that dude didn't get games? He like maliciously takes out his legs.
yeah.
Like,
And Weston was just standing up for his boy.
yeah, I don't really understand that.
It's a good question. And I know on Twitter there's been debate because there's been a few CONCACAF moments where Weston McKennie in particular has been a part of some scraps.
Yeah, he's a little feisty for a player.
But where there could have easily been bookings for like hands to the neck, like people putting their hands on Weston McKennie's neck and like photographic evidence of it taking place, and like nothing ever happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
So,
No, it's very true. It's not consistent at all, and that's the problem. Is we need a level of consistency that we are not getting.
So let's have this ref every week.
Yeah, I'd take him every week over
I
a
surely
bunch
would.
of the other refs.
I surely would.
So I guess the last thing we can talk about in terms of the game is 77th minute. We have some changes. Celio Pompeu comes on for Adeniran, and Jacob Nerwinski comes on for Stroud. That kind of makes that 5-2-3, where we have Celio out on the left, Gio up top in that striker position, and then Rasmus Alm out on the right with Vasilev and AZ. Did AZ already come off?
Mm-hmm.
He got a huge standing ovation.
I think he got that sub. I think it was with
No, AZL Jackson comes off in the 87th.
Oh, okay.
So and
For
then Miggy,
Miggy?
yeah,
Yeah.
and Miggy comes on. So
Yep.
that's I don't even know who that standing ovation is for because both. Yeah,
But
the
I
St.
think
Louis
Miggy's
kid.
was a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
People
he
love
looked pretty
people love
good
seeing
too.
him. Yeah, he looked all right.
Yeah.
He didn't really get a too much time.
I thought Celio looked good too.
Yeah, there was that one, like the final chance I think for St. Louis in this game was one where Celio takes somebody on, plays a ball across to Rasmus Alm,
and Alm just skies it.
yeah, but totally blasts it.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wish he could finish that one.
I think
because
was
then
that
my
the
three.
one where it like ended up out of bounds on the right side.
No, it was like a field goal. Like he just hits it like super high. And
Who
straight.
was that? There was somebody that like,
I think it was Jared Shroud. Truth be
and
told,
it like went out for a throw.
yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, it was Rasmus Alm like 88th minute.
Yeah.
And then I think Celio also had another opportunity where it gets played in from the right-hand side, and I think Gio just like lets it kind of run by him, and Celio hits it, and he's like really calling for like a handball.
Yeah.
The dude was kind of on the ground and like rolling around like it hit him in the face.
It looked like it could have been.
They didn't really show a replay that I saw on TV of that one.
I don't think we got a replay in the stadium either.
I know there was one where he was pretty low to the ground and his hands were by his side and it hit his arm, and that, I mean, depends on the
It's a
ref,
tough call,
but
yeah.
like his arms were by his side, and it's like, what else do you want from me? Just not to have arms?
Chop them off.
No more arms in soccer.
Yeah, you got to get rid of them.
At
Unless
least-
you're a goalie.
Yeah. No, that would be even more fun.
Would it?
So, in terms of FOP mob, today's XG was 2.75 to 0.66.
Nice.
So,
Pretty
very
accurate.
very deserved winners.
Stop
no
looking at me
doubt.
like that.
No, I'm gonna keep looking at you because you just be hating.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been more.
It should have been more.
Yeah.
I think if we had our finishing boots on tonight, specifically Gio, I think if he had them on, we at least have 3-0. And but then I wouldn't have been right about my prediction.
But then I would have been right about the prediction.
What, 3-0?
Yeah. So either way, one of us is right.
I don't think we need you to be right. I think we need me to be right.
Oh, okay. And what's that based on? Just ego?
First Touch Media's, policy.
Oh, that's the policy?
That's the policy.
I gotta review the handbook, I think.
You should have read it before you signed.
Shit, Ian's always got to be right.
I'm always right.
It's in the contract.
It's in the sign the contract. So in other MLS news, we had some big results last night for a lot of different clubs. Yeah. So New England and Cincy. Cincy's kind of on a slide right now. The last two games, they lost 3-0 to DC United, and then they just tied New England 2-2. And I think part of that has to do with Vasquez being out. I think he's a pretty important part of their staff over there and their team. As well as a big result from the Dallas boys who were missing Jesus Ferreira for the Gold Cup, best player. They got a result over LAFC. So now, even if LAFC wins their game in hand on us,
we're still
tied up
top
for
of the league.
Thank you, Dallas, because we needed that one.
This club is hecking massive.
God damn it.
You guys got anything else for this one?
Yeah, let's talk about this whole 3 in the back aspect when Nielsen comes back.
I have some drawn up for that. I
saw you drawing over there. I saw you
doodling.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Because I want to see, and this would have been a good game to try it out. I mean, I feel like we should just try it out the next time we play some bad team. But you never know with bad teams. You know how they are. They can slip you a new one.
Yep.
But the 3 in the back, Parker. I mean, there's options. Parker, Yarrow, Bartlett, obviously right now because Nielsen's out. But once he comes back, you can switch him in there. And then Watts and Hebert on the left and right, I guess. Okay. Watts on the right, Hebert on the left.
Yep.
Blom, CDM, Vasilev, Leuven in between. I mean, yeah. Vasilev and Leuven.
I get what you're saying.
And then AZ, Cam, and then Gio and Adeniran, I guess, right now, but Klaus at some point for one of those two. I think it should be Gio and a big man. That's a good combo to have, especially because I feel like AZ and Gio can they're complementary kind of play style.
They want to play off other players.
Make stuff happen. Mm-hmm. They're not huge, but yeah, I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think that Hebert does really lack offensive quality.
But that's good for this kind of, I mean, you're a Pep stan, so that's good for this kind of thing because if Watts wants to drift into the midfield and then Hebert comes back and then Bartlett or Yarrow, I guess Yarrow would be going to the right, they could shift into a back 4 and have Hebert, Parker, Bartlett in the middle, and then Yarrow on the right with that pace. I feel like that's fire.
It could be really cool.
Yeah, I think it could be really good.
I feel like I would if Carnell does like that lineup, I would honestly expect Johnny Nelson to swap back in for Hebert. Just because if Nielsen's back, Parker, Yarrow, and Nielsen back 3 is like a really solid defensive core. And so we might not have to rely as much on Hebert's 1v1 defending ability.
I mean, even at that point, you might see Yarrow drop back to the bench and Hebert start in the middle
That's
like
true.
He was at the beginning of the year.
Very true.
So I think that the only issue I have with that is I think you have to have like Nelson, Johnny Nelson start at left back in that situation because I think we saw it a bit in this game with the fact that this formation is incredibly direct and it's great for pressing when everyone's on the same page because you can have like the 2 midfielders and the forward kind of close down and trap someone in a corner, but you don't have any width. I think that the reason why Stroud is starting in this formation is to like have someone that naturally kind of wants to drift wide in the formation. Like the most width we saw in that game is probably Akil Watts and Adeniran. And you do not want Adeniran like
providing
as much as
the
you.
width.
Yeah, you don't want your biggest
in
forward.
the middle.
Yeah, you want him in there
heading.
Yeah, getting the service.
Right.
So I think that if we're gonna play something with wingbacks, we got to have some dedicated, real wingbacks crossing the ball.
I agree. You changed my mind. I also think Johnny Nelson. he doesn't get too many opportunities, but when he does, he's a lot better moving forward. Like he can see attacking play a lot.
He's got
better
good
than-
link-up play. I want to see some
Yeah.
better crossing, I think, from him. But in terms of interlinking with the midfielders and overlapping on runs and stuff, it looks pretty
he does
good.
it.
He's
He
good at
does a good
finding
job.
space behind as well. Like he'll play the ball that's not direct. He'll have people run to it.
There was that Nashville opportunity where who was it? Was it
It was Ostrak that played him in.
Ostrak who plays him in, and he's just like he doesn't think he can make it to the ball, so he's just like jogging to catch up to it. But then in this game, we saw Sam Adeniran basically chase down the identical goal, the identical ball, and get an assist out of it.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot to say this.
but he's not.
I don't know why. I think it's just because it's on the goal line, the byline. But that Adeniran, it definitely wasn't as cool as this goal. But it just reminds me of like that Dimitrov-Berbatov where he like steps on the ball and then like flicks it over the defender on the goal line. Yeah, it wasn't anything as disgusting as that, but it reminded me of that because it was just like him chasing it down
on the
and
touch
running
line.
it.
Yeah, it was that was such a good goal.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got a lot of hopefully good problems coming up in our future.
Yeah.
Carnell's got a lot of work to do, and I trust him for the most part to do a good job of it.
You sold me on Nelson.
What, John Nelson?
John Nelson?
In this formation, because then he wouldn't have to worry about defending.
Yeah, in that
much.
that setup, you're going to have the three at the back of Nelson, Hebert, Parker, Yarrow, any of those two that you want.
And then you could have Blom like come back and
Well,
either
Blom's
be
gonna sit in
left
front of
back
him.
or right back
Mm-hmm.
when they move forward.
Yeah,
And
you'll have
you guys know how soccer works.
yeah.
Right.
I sure hope so. Maybe
Right.
not. I don't know.
I don't know at this point. Yeah,
This
and
feels very Man City.
I totally expect Nielsen to be like our true center back, like true middle of the park. What is that? The 4
Sweeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have like your stopper and your sweeper. If you want to play a 4 at the back where one's in front of the other kind of thing.
That's
Oh,
crazy. That's
It's like a high school way of playing.
Right, we
but-
did that in high school,
Yeah.
and I've never seen that actually happen.
Yeah, but you still have like people that are sweepers and stoppers. Like
It's
I
true.
would consider Kyle Hebert a sweeper, and I would consider Tim Parker a stopper.
Yeah.
Like if I want to have one of them in front of the other, and the
It's
other
just-
guy being the last man,
It's funny because like in high school, it was like actually one person standing behind the entire back line, holding every single soul on side.
Yeah.
and he's just always back there. Shout out Matt Green if you hear this.
Yeah,
Shout out Chris for chopping this up. It's gonna hurt your ears.
yeah, just a little bit.
Wait, why is
Riley's
that?
a little excited.
Oh, sorry. let me dial it back.
It's all good. I'm excited. I can't wait to see Nielsen. If you guys go check it out, I think Jonah got a picture with both
Klaus
Nielsen and Klaus.
Yep.
because he was up in one of the boxes last night. Shout out Carrollton Bank for some tickets.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think basically everybody from First Touch was at the game last night except for me.
Yeah.
You were in the supporter section.
Boo.
You
I was
were
in
in
the-
the supporter
I was in
section.
the
Yeah, he was in the box.
Oh, you were in the box.
And let
Chris
me
was
tell
up
you-
in the media area.
Yeah, he was in the press box.
box.
Supporter section blows the box out of the water. There's very little passion up there.
Wait, but can you talk
Very
about
little.
Can you talk about the food and drink? Jonah was very excited about the food and
Oh, it
drink
was
situation.
delicious.
What did you have?
A lot of barbecue. There was like a rib sandwich and like burnt ends. There was party potatoes. It was a very Midwest meal.
Yeah.
There was beans. I mean, really, it was just barbecue. There was
What
some
about the
gooey
dr-
butter cake. Shout out my Aunt Patty. Yours is way better.
What about the drink situation? Was there like free beers?
Free
and,
drinks.
Yeah.
I was schmizzed.
That's a
Dude.
new one.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there were some people that were singing along, but other than that, it was just kind of like everybody just sat the whole game, and we were standing the whole game, even though we had seats. It was very exciting, but it's kind of, the supporter section is a lot more fun, and like when you're in the supporter section, you don't realize just how loud you are.
Yeah.
Until you go sit somewhere else, and it's so like you can hear them so loud the whole game.
That was whenever I sat up in the press box, that's exactly how I felt. Was just like, God, I wish I was down
felt
there
left
with
out.
them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think there's a time and a place to both enjoy it, like you're in the press box or something. You just kind of sit back and you're like observing all of it, and then
Yeah.
there's also a time to go live it and get your tickets in the supporter section and yell
true.
and scream.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you don't got to yell and scream, but to just sit
No,
there
you do.
silently the whole time, I don't know.
I think the west side of the stadium's a little bougie, if you know what I'm saying.
For sure. I was definitely out of place.
First generation white trash over
Yeah,
here.
I heard you printed out a fake wristband. Is there any truth to that story?
Dude, I got in.
So as fake as it might have been.
They tried to keep me out, but I got
them.
back in. It didn't fool them. I had to get let back in by Jonah. They really didn't believe me that I was already in there, and I had to.
Miggy had to run to his car, and he didn't have his ticket on his phone, so he had a wristband on. I was like, "Hey, man, I've already been into the game."
Clearly.
Oh, you know what?
Looks like you could have. That could be fake.
That could be fake.
One big issue that I had at this game was the parking situation. Our normal parking garage that connects to the Stiefel. Well, they didn't even have it open for the public. And that one you can use, digital payment to go in.
Oh, really?
But there's like a backfill lot to the south, which is also $20 parking.
Directions guy.
But they take they only take cash. So I mean, I never bring cash down there because I'm used to being able to use my card to pay $20 at this one.
Yeah.
So that one's shut down. This one's cash only. So what's my only option? Go down to Union Station, spend $45 to park.
Dude,
We
that
parked
is
in the place
horrible.
you normally park.
That's where you park? Well, okay, so by the time we got down there, like the line, they had Clark entirely shut down. You couldn't go straight onto Clark to turn left in there. And then 14th was entirely like bumper to bumper. You were never going to get in for at least an hour. Like, it was just terrible. The parking does need a little bit of help, I think, especially on those nights where you're going to have Enterprise, you're going to have Stiefel. If you have all this going at the same time, people need a place to park.
I think if anything, we don't want to bore people with our parking problems, but Union Station, you need to lower the price of parking.
$45 is absurd.
I
That's
need
insane.
this to be short form. Just
Yeah.
Riley ranting about
parking.
What else can I rant about?
I
Where
don't
were
think
the
we need
porta
any.
potties?
We don't need
They
any
were
more
gone.
rants. Are you guys good for
I
today?
had to pee. No porta potty. Then I get arrested for peeing on wall. This is ridiculous.
Come on, I've got something else I want to say.
I don't think he does.
And I can see the
Yeah, I
vein
guess I
popping
don't.
out of his
All right.
forehead.
Well,
Don't talk about my vein.
thank you all for joining us for another episode of Soul of the City, and don't forget to tune in on Wednesday for our pre-match episode for
Taking
next
on
Saturday.
Toronto.
hopefully we
Bow,
can
bow.
keep this form up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Toronto are pretty terrible, so
Maybe we can try this formation.
We'll see.
Carnell, please.
let's go for 9 points in 3 games. Turn up.
Cincy,
All
we're
right.
coming for you.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of Soul of the City, brought to you by First Touch Media and Anchor FM. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.